On Monday evening, the Grand Forks City Council approved a letter of intent to move ahead with planning for a $300 million resort and casino to be built at 47th Avenue South off I-29. That approval of a letter of intent is only for to move ahead with planning purposes. It would likely take years to clear federal regulations for the actual casino and resort to be built. Here's the full discussion before Monday night's vote.
Turtle Mountain Band, Chippewa letter of intent with the attachments. Thank you.
Mr. Phelan, please.
Mayor Buchansky, members of City Council, just wanted to note two things that we added. One is to the agenda item. One is Senate Bill number 2376. That is the bill that will be heard on Wednesday morning regarding the addition of Grand Forks County as part of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Gaming Compact. Number two, we did follow up with, based upon our feedback last week, we attached a frequently asked questions item. And I would just note some of the things that we noted on there. We did collaborate with representatives from the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa, from some of their representatives on these answers. And I think we are in alignment. This is a first step among several steps. And, people have even said hundreds of steps, so we'll see how far we get past today. So we just wanted to highlight, number one, is there's been a lot of discussion about how we're going to pay for things. And so as we have commitment from the tribe that as part of our host service agreement that the city would own the infrastructure. They would pay for it, either upfront or through long-term special assessments and that sort of thing. Number two, city services. So as part of this host service agreement, that they would pay for city services, whether they're public safety, public works, or otherwise. As part of it, we talked about, what would be put into trust of the 146 acres. That's to be determined, but as much of the land as possible, we want to keep in city annexed land and not into trust. That land that's put into trust, they would pay an equivalent for property taxes that would not normally be taxed. So we all agree with that. The other concern that we had is charitable gaming. We had a really positive opportunity to meet with the charitable gaming folks here in Grand Forks, and we had several of them. And thanks to Sherry Lundmark, Mayor Buchansky, and I met with them, and they do have concerns. I think the general sentiment is they're not a yes or no for the project moving forward, but there's lots of due diligence to move forward. What we've emphasized is this letter of intent allows us to start to dig into the pluses and minuses of this particular project. Some of their main concerns is, I think the Mayor Buchansky mentioned this, is workforce. We know that workforce is tight, so the concern is if you have somebody working in their organization and they get a better opportunity in this organization, that they may lose employees. The other thing is we talked about is loss of revenue, and so obviously they're performing well through what they're doing, and they're concerned about this not being a positive sum, and that obviously the resort itself will be on the positive side, and it'll take from them and put them on the negative side. So those are all the things we discussed with them, that we want to make sure that as part of any agreement that we protect organizations that will be impacted, and that's all a part of us asking you as City Council. We are asking you to move forward with the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa and exploring the first steps of moving forward these various agreements and looking at the pluses and minuses. I also want to make note that there are representatives here this evening from the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa, including Chairman Asher. So I want to welcome them. So with that, Mayor, I'll turn it back over to City Council.
Sounds good. I'll open it up to comments. I just would want to make a quick comment. I know Mr. Waletsko had email or text messaged me as well, and I think he makes some good points. And I do think that there will be a fair amount, not a fair amount, a considerable amount of skepticism in all the steps moving forward. And I think that's the due diligence that this LOI is kicking off. And maybe Mr. Phelan, you can speak to that and what the LOI is and what it isn't, because I think there's been confusion over that. I mean, I read section 1.
I would say, Mayor Buchansky, number one, it's non-binding. And so It's a 3-page document, really having the city council authorize us from the legislative branch for the administration to work on the various component parts of this and bring the project back to you. And so that's really what it is. It's non-binding, but it allows us to engage formally with the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa on this particular project, allows us to engage, for example, on Wednesday at a hearing and represent the city of Grand Forks that we are engaged in a letter of intent and are working in good faith to see if this is a good project, not only for those that are on the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa side, but also the city of Grand Forks and our region side. This allows us to do that. And so that's really what we're asking you tonight. I know, on the other hand, people want all the answers, but if we brought back all the answers to you this evening, you'd probably ask us, why didn't we know something about this project? So we don't have all the answers. However, it's a long road, and we as the administration, these projects take a lot of effort, a lot of tenacity, a lot of grit, a lot of determination to do them, and we got a lot of things going on. And so this is really a test of the city council. Are we seriously want to move down this path? And if not, and if it's a no, what our answer is to a developer in this case, which is the tribe, that the city council says they don't want to move forward with even considering this project. So that's where we're at this evening. And we want to bring these projects to you sooner rather than later. We want to bring them to the light of day so people know that we're possibly working on these things. So I think this is what the city council has asked for in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Phelan. So, any comments from council?
I have
Ms.
questions.
Osowski, please.
Are they gonna, will the Turtle Mountain Reservation be answering questions or no?
They certainly can, yeah. Mr. Auger, or who's the best, I guess, who would be the best? Are you?
Hello, Mr. Auger. I first have to say, as soon as I left the meeting last Monday, I saw your commercial on TV, so it was pretty funny.
That wasn't planned, was it?
I will.
No, but I sat down, I went out to eat, and I looked up, and my mom's like, there's the guy from the council meeting. I'm like, there he is, about not smoking. Is that what it's on, or?
It is, and I hate to say it, but I will be annoying people across the nation now. I okayed it to go nationwide. So
It's a very nice commercial. I
Yeah,
like
well, thank
it a
you.
lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. I guess a question that I have is, are there any other investors in this project besides Turtle Mountain? I don't know the full name, besides TMBCI.
Are there any more investors currently? No, we have not moved forward into into that level of agreements. So this is literally one of the very first steps of moving forward in many steps.
Okay, so there could be other investors in the project besides the Turtle Mountain.
This is Alicia LeCount. She's one of our in-house attorneys.
I am the in-house attorney. Only a tribe can own a facility, but
Okay.
we would have to seek out investment from banks, like a regular opportunity to grow a business.
Okay, thank you so much. I guess all the concerns that I stated last week, my main concern is, the tax revenue that we would be losing as a city. At this point, I still don't feel very comfortable that any agreement that we get into is going to be able to stand up in a court of law, and that is something that I am concerned about. I normally don't speak on social issues because it really isn't my thing, but I do have a lot of the same concerns that the two people came up and spoke about socially. The other thing is I know after speaking with people that everybody's like, or not everybody, but people were like, well, we're not really getting into an agreement, and it's just, kind of saying that we're going to move forward. But every agreement that we get into costs us money. We pay Mr. Gosted's law firm to write these things up. We pay city staff to go and meet with these people. And so I guess I'm not willing to continuously kick the can down the road on this project and eat away at our city tax dollars. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Osowski. Any other questions from the council? Well, we got Chairman Osher up there.
Yeah.
Yep, Ms. Berg, please.
How would it look for law enforcement? Is there like some sort of agreement where Grand Forks law enforcement would be able to come and provide services as needed, or is it just BIA?
Well, that's a great question. To begin with, the third-party operator, well, the manager, would initially handle basic security needs at the complex, and further agreements such as a MOA or MOUs, Memorandum of Understandings, or agreements would be entered into with the appropriate law enforcement agency that provides law enforcement services to the project. The land that is not in trust is subject to current law enforcement oversight. So it would be kind of a mix, I would say. But that's a great question. And did I answer the question?
Yeah. And then overall, I just want to express that I'm very interested in exploring this further, but I think at some point we really need to have the public determine if we fully move forward for this or not. And I'm just not sure at what point, like, do we go to a vote or something with the public?
Thank you, Ms. Berg. Further discussion from council members? Mr. Veen.
Mayor, first of all, I appreciate getting some of the additional information that we had today versus what we had last week. It's helpful to see some of the efforts that have gone in so far. As I recall, I think some of the dates those studies were done were probably 2022.
Yeah.
So they haven't been updated. So it appears this has been in the works for a while, that we've started the studying, and you've kind of now brought it to the council for a decision, again, based on a letter of intent.
Well, we knew there'd be a lot of questions. We did have the benefit of going back and looking at the questions that have been asked before when this has been brought up. We didn't want to come to the city council and waste time, like was mentioned before. We wanted to come in with already some of the information to the questions that would be asked that was previously asked. I thought the gentleman from Belgium made a good comment earlier when he said does the culture fit? So does the culture fit for a true partnership between the city of Grand Forks and the Turner Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians? So that's another big question that we're asking here today. I'm human. When I heard some of the comments that were just spoken before we came up, that kind of struck me a little bit too. So the tribe does so much, and these people comments, these people go to UND, right? That's our tribal members. These people are professionals in the city of Grand Forks across the board. We have a few that are sitting in here today. These people contribute to the local schools for cultural diversification so that the next generations coming up do not say these people, right? We are here as a business owner. We are here trying to provide opportunity of two groups coming together for a unique opportunity that nobody else can bring forward. If we do this right, we do this together, we do this open communication, we put the data on the table, that will guide us if this is going to be profitable, if it's going to be good culture for the two entities that are standing in here today between the city of Grand Forks and our tribe. So I wasn't going to mention anything on that level, but that kind of struck me a little deep because I have two daughters that are watching this tonight on a stream, and they're 18 years old and they're 13 years old. So, moving forward, I hope that a lot of the questions that were asked, like, is the tribe itself able to show where funds from our casinos go? Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of our gaming pick up where the social services in our communities really drop. So 20% of those, right off the top, 20% of our gaming revenues go right back into a general account at the tribe that gets dispersed across all of our social services. Building up our community, building up our roads, building up, if in our community right now, we have built up in the last 10 years bigger and quicker than we have in the previous 25. Our tribe isn't coming forward asking and coming forward and saying, you know, we need to do this. Our tribe is coming forward, extending an olive branch, saying this is an opportunity that the data says can work. All we're asking is for that next step to move forward. We can put that data all on the table. We can answer a lot of those questions that were asked right before this. And we can work together to bring something beautiful to this community.
If I could, and after the meeting last week, I had a chance to talk to you, which I appreciated, and I kind of explained the issue for me had been the letter of intent
Yep.
versus what I was looking as a letter of interest.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know more. I don't feel knowledgeable to say a letter of intent.
Yeah.
And it may be a little bit of the chicken and the egg, but that's kind of the rationale, getting more information, making informed decision based on good data. That's what's going to be most critical for us.
I appreciate that comment. If you ever get to talk to me away from this podium, data matters. We live by that. Data matters. So data is what drives, and that's how we're able to move forward as a tribe so quickly in the last 10 years.
All right, any other questions for the chairman? All right, thank you. Thank you for coming up here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sorry, Alicia, I was going to let her talk more this time, but
Maybe you can pay her less, but maybe that works out. Those lawyers, tell you what. All right, open up for any further comment or motions by council, so.
Make a motion to approve the letter of intent.
Got a motion to approve from Mr. Weigel, second from Mr. Friedels. Then I'll look for any further discussion. All right. Well, seeing none, Ms. Storstad, why don't you, if you want to do a roll call, yes, no vote, that would be appreciated.
Okay. Weigel,
Yes.
Osowski,
No.
Berg,
Yes.
Lunsky. Yes. Friedels,
Yes.
Bean,
No.
and I believe President Sandy is no longer on.
The motion passes 4-2 with Osowski and Veen dissenting. Thank you.